Imagine a time way before labs, before microscopes, before anything we'd call modern medicine. How in the world would you diagnose a mysterious illness? Well, today we're going to crack open an ancient text, not just as history, but as a surprisingly detailed diagnostic manual. We're going to follow its procedure, step by step, and solve a kind of medical mystery.
So yeah, how did they do it? You might expect a diagnosis based on, magic or prayers or something, but what we find in the book of Leviticus is something else entirely. It's a clear, observational, and honestly, a surprisingly logical procedure. So let's follow the steps together and see exactly how this thing works.
All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with how a simple healed boil can turn into a new problem. Then we'll shadow the priest during their first checkup, looking for clues. We're going to uncover a totally fascinating insight from the commentator Rashi about an optical illusion. Then we'll see what happens with a 7-day quarantine when the case isn't clear-cut. And finally, we'll see how they reach the final verdict.
So our case doesn't start with a new injury. Actually, it's the opposite. It starts with an old wound that has apparently gotten better. But just when you think you're in the clear, a new, more mysterious problem shows up right in its place.
The text tells us that this whole process kicks off after a person has had some kind of skin inflammation, which in Hebrew is called a Shechin, and that initial inflammation heals up. So far, so good, right? Well, the problem is what happens next.
So what exactly is a Shechin? The text is really specific about this. The medieval commentator Rashi explains that the word actually comes from the Hebrew word for heat, but he says it refers to a boil or inflammation caused by a blow, like from a piece of wood or a stone, not from a fire. That's a whole different category. This kind of precision is our first clue that we're dealing with a very detail-oriented system here.
And here's the twist. Right where that original boil was, a new spot develops. The text gives us two possibilities. It's either a white swelling, or it's a white spot that's got streaks of red in it. This is the moment where the person has to go and see the priest.
And again, the terminology is incredibly precise. A pure white swelling is called a se'et. The one that's streaked with red is a Baheret. And Rashi points out that this Baheret isn't just a single reddish-white color. It's actually a mix of two distinct colors, kind of mottled together. You can see how the priest really had to be a careful observer of these subtle visual cues.
So the patient shows up, and now the first examination begins. The priest isn't just taking a wild guess here. They are actively hunting for two very specific clues that could lead to an immediate diagnosis.
This is basically the first big fork in the road of this diagnosis. The priest does a visual check for just two signs. If either one of them is there, boom, case closed, the verdict is impurity. And here they are. First, does the spot appear to be lower than the skin around it? And second, has any of the hair growing inside that blemish turned white? If the answer is yes to either of these, the diagnosis is quick. But that first sign is way more interesting than it sounds.
Okay, this brings us to what is, for me, the most fascinating part of this whole ancient procedure. That first clue about the spot appearing lower than the skin, it's not actually about physical depth, it's about perception. This is where a clue is not at all what it seems.
The text says it appears lower. The key word you got to notice is appears. It doesn't say it is lower. So what's going on? Is the skin actually sunken in or something?
And this is where Rashi offers this just incredible explanation. He says it's an optical illusion. The blemish isn't physically deeper at all. Instead, its intense, stark whiteness tricks the eye into seeing it as deeper. He compares it to how a patch of bright sunlight on the ground can look deeper and more intense than the shadow right next to it. How amazing is that? This isn't just ritual, it's a really sophisticated observation about light and human perception. So what happens if those definitive signs just aren't there? There's no white hair, and the spot doesn't have that deep white appearance. Well, the diagnosis isn't pure just yet. The system actually has a protocol for when things are uncertain. When the initial signs are missing, the procedure moves to its next phase. It is time for quarantine.
The rules here are crystal clear. If those telltale signs are absent, and especially if the blemish itself looks kind of faded or indistinct, the priest can't make a final call. The diagnostic clock gets paused, and a waiting period officially begins.
And that waiting period is exactly 7 days. The priest isolates the individual for 1 full week. This introduces a brand new diagnostic tool, time. The idea is that the passage of time is going to reveal the true nature of this blemish. So after those 7 days are up, it is time for the final check. And this entire elaborate procedure now comes down to one simple, elegant observation. Did the blemish grow, or did it stay put?
And this just brilliantly illustrates the whole logical flow that we've been following, right? You start with the initial problem, you check for the immediate signs, you quarantine if the evidence is murky, and then you do this final check for spreading. It's a clear, repeatable process that leads right to the final verdict.
So the whole thing hinges on this one question. After a week in isolation, the priest examines that spot again. And all that matters now is, has it spread across the skin?
And the two outcomes are laid out with absolute clarity. If that spot has spread at all, it's considered an act of affection, and the person is pronounced impure. But if it has remained stationary, if it hasn't grown one bit, it's decided that it's nothing more than a scar, and the person is pronounced pure.
And the text even gives this benign outcome its own specific name, a Tzarevet. And Rashi explains this word basically means the shriveled mark or the scar left behind by the original Shechin, the boil. And this just ties everything together perfectly. That suspicious new spot wasn't some new disease after all. It was just the final stage of the old wound healing.
So from a simple boil through this multi-step diagnosis that involves optical physics and a 7-day quarantine, we get to a clear verdict. This whole procedure is just a fascinating window into ancient logic. It's systematic, it's based on observation, and it has protocols for uncertainty, which kind of leaves us with a final thought. What does a system like this tell us about that blurry line between what we call science, what we call ritual, and just the basic need to create social order?